Hey folks, Jason with MX Fever. As always, welcome back to the channel. For some reason, I seem to be attracting shifting issues with the Honda and the electronic shift program. I had another video on the channel here. It was my dad's machine that would upshift but wouldn't downshift. I ended up cleaning up the shifting gears in the electronic shift motor, and that solved that problem. My brother-in-law had, it was a Rancher or a Rin, it wasn't a Rincon, I think it was a Rancher that wouldn't shift, and it had faults for a shift angle sensor, which I don't have a video of that, but you'll see I replaced it on this machine in this video, so you'll be able to see where that was located. This one, I think, is an anomaly. I don't think that this is going to be a common problem of one, but it wasn't the. I tried cleaning the gears off to the shift motor, and I put a new shift angle sensor on it anyways because it was throwing a fault when you would manually shift it, so it needed that anyways. But it still wouldn't shift past first gear. It would go first, neutral, reverse, and that was it. You had nothing second and above. So I had to go inside on this one. Like I say, I don't think that this is a common problem. You'll see if you spend the time and watch this video that I think it was just a weird one. I really don't know. And something else that I wanted to stress, because a lot of people are like, I don't want one of those Hondas with the electronic shift. They're garbage. They always fail. That's not the case. I mean, I'm around these things constantly, and the one that's my dad's machine that's in the first video, that machine is 19 years old, and this is the first time it's ever had a problem. And I owned the machine, before he did, and I beat the living crap out of the thing. It saw water up to the handlebars multiple times. And the one that's in this video is 21 years old. And I'm sure that this is the first time this one has had a problem as well. So don't be scared of Hondas and the electronic shift program. They're just like the rest of the Hondas. They're durable as long as you keep riding them and maintain them. You don't want to get me started on comparing it to a belt-driven machine, because those belong on snowmobiles. But we're getting inside on this one, so I guess if you want to see how things work inside, sit back and enjoy the video. Not shift past first gear, and it would shift to neutral and reverse, and that's all it would do. It would not go into second or anything higher. So I did the normal stuff like I covered in the last video. I took the shift motor and the gears apart, cleaned them all out. They had the same sticky substance in there, so I cleaned it all up, did everything like I did on the last video, and it did not correct the problem. The other thing, when you would force it into another gear, it would go into a error code. So I replaced the angle sensor in hopes that it would correct the issue. But here's the gear cover off, or the case cover off of the clutches. And there's the housing that I had all cleaned up. Even with the manual shift, I'll put the ratchet on it here. Okay, that's going to neutral. I'll shift it to second, or first, I'm sorry. That will go into gear. But that's all we get. And everything is moving like it's supposed to. It doesn't matter if I rock it or not. It won't go any farther. We'll take it back to neutral. And we're in neutral again. So we're going inside on this one. I'm going to get the engine out and see if I can figure out what's going on from there. Basically, to get to this point, was just taking the rack and the fenders off and pulling the front cover off that you can get access to the clutches. So See if we can't figure this one out. Pop the carb out, set it up on top of the air box. The intake for the air box took out. Breather hose is unhooked. I got the rubbers pushed back, so when I slide the unit forward, I can get that unhooked. The differential in the front is those two bolts, one on the bottom, one on the side, or sorry, the top. Then that one captures the front. The front differential slides forward enough that you can get the drive shaft out easy. The electronics, sorry, and the exhaust pipe came out. The electronics, they all plug in under the rear fender right there, those two plugs, I'll need those. The neutral, or I'm sorry, this is your, is that neutral or temp? I don't remember, I'll figure it out once I get the engine out. Starter wire, and I'm gonna undo the reverse cable right now. Got this bolt pulled out. It's only being held in right now by one. And then it looks like my game plan is to go out that side, take the bottom out first, then tip it so the head will clear the frame here, and see what happens. What I'm seeing here, I don't know if this is the problem yet, but there's this bolt that holds, and this is a ratchet mechanism that I'm unfamiliar with. See how much that's moving around? And when, oops, I just went the wrong direction, because that went into reverse, tried going into reverse. See, it's stopping there, not ratcheting to the next gear. So I'm suspicious about this bolt and how much that moves around. So I'm gonna look at that. And just a couple other things that I thought was neat. I've never been into a Foreman before, but this clutch setup is the same as they've used since the big reds went to 250 ESs. The centrifugal clutch here drives your clutch basket for the transmission. This apparently is an overhead cam system, or a push rod style engine, because the cam is down low. And it's, I never was able to find the chain tensioner. That's because it's underneath the cylinder, hidden way up right here. So it's pushing down on this lever. That's tensioning the chain on that side. And the oil pump's right there going out to the cooler. Oh, just in case you're wondering how things worked. This is the bit, like throwout bearing, I guess you'd call it. But kind of cool. Never been in one before, so thought I'd share a couple little tidbits. But I'm gonna look into this part right here and see what I come up with. So that bolt that was right here that held the cover I was curious because it was moving around. That bolt I actually took out with my hand. That's how loose it was. And then the plate, this is a plate that was covering it. I thought it looked funny in this one spot, like something broke off. So I stuck a magnet in the drum, and this little tab came out right here. It's supposed to be attached to this. So I looked up the new part number, and here's what it's supposed to look like. And I gotta get a puller, take this clutch off, which I don't have, so I'm gonna have to order that. So this will be on pause until I can get a new puller, because I wanna take this clutch assembly off, and then thoroughly inspect the ratchet mechanism. So far, you can see the teeth up in here. They're not broke or rounded off or anything, but I don't, with that being loose and slopping around, this held this back down. But without that bolt being loose and working around in there for a while, I want to make sure that nothing else is damaged. And I can't take the ratchet mechanism out until I take this clutch off. So I'll be back here in a few days. All right, we're back after it. I finally got the puller. This is it here. This is what it looks like. It's an M35 by 1.5 or 1.5. You need to pay attention when you're ordering because it'll also populate an M30 by 1.5. And the difference is the diameter of the sleeve that goes over the boss on the clutch hub. M35, I believe, shares with 86 non-power valve 250R Suzukis. The 30 shares with other Suzukis, smaller, I believe, the 230 or 250S. But, I mean, if you work on stuff quite a bit, and this is only 30 bucks, I think, 35, somewhere in there. But you have the great possibility of using it on more than one thing. But I wanted to show you this quick. This is the Honda 2002 Foreman 450. And we're gonna take a quick trip over here. This is the 1985 Honda 250 ES Big Red. So this technology's been used. I love what Honda, when it works, they keep it. So you're still using the same thing, at least up until this year of Foreman. So I'll just take this off. You thread the puller sleeve onto the clutch hub. I'm going to double check the thread pitch on this hub because it's felt like it fit kind of funny. But to take it off, I know this is controversial, but I've done it this way forever. I was using impact, and it seems like the impact hammer of it will actually break it loose versus holding it with a wrench here and trying to tighten it here. This will pop it right off. Like so. Then you have your starter clutch, or your one-way bearing right here. Let's see if that would come off all those ones, so you need to take it out. Okay, so there's that. And then I gotta grab a couple things to get the other clutch off. Okay, the counter shaft is pinned over right here, or staked over, I guess you'd call it. So I'm just gonna bend the stake back. And then same thing with this one. Use an impact on it, I do anyways. Be careful here. So there's probably the correct tool for this, but I just hang on to the basket with my hand. Like so. And then that clutch comes off. Okay. I'm going to zoom you in closer so we can check this out together. Now with the clutch basket removed, this whole assembly will come out. See, and those pawls don't look wore out at all to me. That pin, I think, just locates it on the shift drum. Yep. So that's okay. I really didn't need to take that off, but I was just checking it. So all I did there was hold the keeper. I just pulled the keeper back down so I could put the the plate back on the drum. So this deal is what went here. And that tab was gone. And now this is the new one like I showed in the picture. The tab is part of it. So and it goes in front of this. Okay. I'm just going to do this for trial right now. And I'll put Loctite on this and torque it properly. This fixes it. Now, I don't know what this other hole is, if it should line up. line up with the drum pin. No, it doesn't work that way. So I just tighten this bolt up. Now I'm going to put the shift mechanism back on. Let's see, that's going to... So that's going to split at the bottom, like that. And the spring hooks to the top. I gotta get some pliers for that, or I'm gonna slice my finger open. It goes in up there. Okay. I can grab a wrench and see about manually shifting this. Sorry I moved it on you, but this is all tight in there now. It's not flopping around. I'm hoping that it was allowing the pawl to jump off of the little posts in there. So hang on just a second again. All right. So I'm going to manually shift it. Well, in order to probably get it to shift, we'll have to turn our counter shaft here. So there's first, you see the output going to the front diff. Second, third, fourth, fifth. And you can tell it's changing gears because this is 1-to-1 now when it's in fifth gear. So this is turning at the same rate as the output to the front differential. Check it downshifting. Let's check it. No, I can't get it to go in reverse without moving the thing on the back. But that's what it was, guys. That bolt being loose allowed the tab to break off of this, which allowed the shift pawl to come off the little stud. Here, I'm going to torque this up, I'm going to take it back and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, I took it back off. So this plate went on. This is the old one. This plate went on, and that bolt held. These are your shift pawls, which catches these little teeth here. And as you shift, it pulls and then moves the drum. I don't know if I'm going to have, oops, I'm on the wrong post. I have enough oomph in my fingers to do it myself. You can kind of see, there it goes, a little bit what's happening. But taking this off, you can see on the back, there's witness marks right here and here. If I get it closer, I don't know if it'll focus or not. There's a witness mark there and there where this piece, the pawls were jumping over the pins. So that's our failure mode on that one, which I don't know if this is common. I highly doubt it. But all for this little $4 piece right here. And that's the part number for it. Actually, I think it was $8. But yeah. Well, at least we know what's wrong with it and can get it back going. All right, so this is all put back together. I'm going to shift it through the gears one time. This has got blue Loctite on it and is torqued. So let's shift it through the gears again. Okay, yep, we're in neutral right now. Two, three, four, five. There you have it. I really don't feel or see the need in showing you how to put this back together. It's basically just reversing your steps. There's a couple A couple of things I'm going to show you when I go to put the new cover on that I felt need replacing. Other than that, I'm just going to take it apart, put it back together the same way that it just came apart. Maybe this is a good part to try to figure this one out while we're filming. So this assembly is put back together, and now this little ball is what ramps up when it shifts to release the clutch from the countershaft, and it's part of the cover. So I put that grease there to hold the little ball bearing assembly in place. And you'll see why here in just a second. Get this going the right way here. New gasket. And of course the dowel's in the other part. I'll put the dowel in this side to hold the gasket in place. Now, this is what I was talking about, is this part where your clutch adjustment goes into that opening there, and it's got to line up on this tab. So I'm going to use that grease to hold everything in place while the cover goes on. Gonna line up with the shifter shaft here. Come on. Okay. And it's not lining up. Oh, there it just went. Now I can test it. It's the motion of it for moving back and forth is done when you shift. See, okay, now you see it moving in and out. So it's lined up with the balls. We're back in neutral. So I guess I don't know if it's the right way to do it with it either, but apparently it works. So we're gonna keep going, get the engine in this thing, and hopefully be riding it here for too long. All right, the engine's back in it, but here's one of the things that I wanted to note was the oil cooler lines. There's one here and there's one down there. The O-rings that were on that have become flat and pretty brittle. So definitely, if you take these off, you want to replace these O-rings. Some of the other ones, or most of the other ones actually, I inspected, they were fine, but these, the shape of them that they've turned into raised some attention. So I got some new O-rings. The part number for those is, get out the glare, that part number, quantity of 2. And we're gonna keep going. All right, it's all back together. Everything's hooked up, double checked. Obviously don't have the plastics and stuff on because I wanted to give this a trial run before I put everything back together. It started pretty easy actually. Okay, here we go. Neutral. First. Second. Third. Fourth. Fifth. Yes. Back down, let's try reverse. Reverse. Like I say, I don't think that's a common problem, but another one back up and running, making memories.